the University of Alabama football game in Oklahoma. So I decided, because they get so intense, I'm gonna make some chocolate chip cookies. I'm not making chocolate chip cookies tonight. I am actually going to make peppermint bark cookies. I'm gonna use my own recipe. My daughter put these in a bag for me, and this is how much we're gonna use. I told her I don't think it's enough, but what do I know? In the big bowl, I am putting in the dry products. I'm putting 2¼ cups of flour. Now, if you want thicker cookies, go ahead and use a tablespoon more of flour. If you want thinner cookies, like I always take a tablespoon out. So I like to have thinner cookies. So I put 2¼ cups, a little bit less than a quarter of a cup, just a teaspoon less for my cookies. And again, I use the gold medal flour that's resealable. I just like it better. Then you put in 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I preheated the oven to 375. One teaspoon of salt. Both of these ingredients are so important. If you don't put them in, I will tell you your cookies won't turn out. Funny story, my daughter, who I was teaching her how to cook, and it was her turn to make chocolate chip cookies on her own. And she literally, instead of the flour, she put in salt. And I will tell you, when I ate those cookies, they were so bad. But you know, as I'm talking, my child made them, so I ate them. Put a little bit, pinch more in there. It came out too soft. I'm hoping it doesn't make that salty. You go ahead and stir that together. These are the dry ingredients, and you put them separate. And this video will probably be longer just because the football game's on, and as much as I love watching football, my daughter and my husband get pretty intense. So I said, hey, why not make some cookies? Why not? What else is there to do, right? In my KitchenAid mixer, I'm going to go ahead and put in, I let it sit out, so it should be good. A cup of butter. I always like to use the unsalted butter. I use Land O'Lakes unsalted butter. I don't like to use too much salt in my butter. So you guys get to watch me make this from beginning to end tonight, because they're in there watching football, and as much as I love to watch football, I'm not real intense about it. And I hear my daughter screaming, which means since I left the room, Alabama has scored 2 touchdowns, I'm assuming. And she probably will not let me back in the room to watch football. So I might as well stay out here and make cookies. Because since I left, it sounds like Alabama is doing a great job. So we put in 2 full sticks of butter, softened. And I let it sit for a few hours. We put 3/4 cup of sugar. I always like to use a name brand sugar. This is Domino's. My favorite, my go-to is typically Dixie Crystal, but tonight I'm using Domino's, so that's a good sugar. Take my knife, level it off. I use 3/4 cup of brown sugar, packed, Oops, I put a little bit too much in there. This is what it looks like, but go ahead and pack it down. A little bit more in there. I'm making a mess, but you know what, tonight I don't care because they're not gonna let me back in that room to watch that game. Vanilla extract. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Cream it together. I always like to use my Pampered Chef spatulas. They're great. I've had them for years. I was talking, none of this is a paid promotion. I was talking to my Pampered Chef representative today because every year around Christmas time I always order more Pampered Chef. And I was telling her some of my Pampered Chef items go back to the 1980s and they still last. One of the things I like about Pampered Chefs, their spatulas, is when the spatulas, a lot of times when you buy the cheaper spatulas, they go ahead and they break off. Well, I've had these spatulas, I mean this one I absolutely love. I've probably had this one a good 10 years and it still looks brand new. I probably had this one 4 or 5 years. And I know I bought this one several years ago. I run these through the dishwasher. And look, they still look brand new. They still look great. They got brown sugar on them. I probably didn't let the butter soften enough because it's starting to clump up. Turn it off. And I know it's late at night, but like I said, my husband are watching football, and quite frankly, now that Bama's doing better, they're not going to let me back in the room, so. You got to cream these together. How is everyone doing tonight? I know it's a late night. I don't need these. Absolutely love my kitchen. This kitchen is brand new. We renovated the kitchen probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I absolutely love it. It was a lot smaller than this, and from a person who absolutely loves to cook, who absolutely loves to bake, we went ahead and did some upgrades to it. And you can see the brown sugar, the butter, the vanilla, and the sugar is starting to cream together. There's still some butter pieces in there. I don't think I let my butter sit long enough. Just continue to we'll add 1 egg at a time. I don't think I let my butter sit long enough, so I have to keep doing this. It's making it difficult to blend together. That's okay. while we're letting that blend. My husband had his secret Santa this week reveal, and we have a granddaughter, and this is the shirt that they got her, my husband, that we're going to go ahead and send to my granddaughter. My husband is obsessed with Minions, so he absolutely loved that shirt, and she's definitely one in a million. She's our first grandchild, so she's absolutely wonderful. Hello, thank you for joining. So I just put in 1 egg at a time. And you put in the flour mixture. And you do a little at a time. This is when I love this spatula from Pampered Chef. This is probably one of my favorite ones I was telling my representative about today. And mind you, I'm not getting, this is not a paid promotion, I'm not getting any money from Peppered Chef. I just love their products. I have a lot of their pans. I use pretty much everything when I'm baking. I love my KitchenAid mixer. This is probably one of the best investments I made as a baker, is my KitchenAid mixer. Turn this off, pull it up, put the rest of this in. I think I hear one of my boys coming out. I have 2 dogs. I hear my boys barking. They like to come out in the kitchen with me. They like to be with me, but I'm baking and I don't want them in the kitchen around the food products. I just don't like that. Blend it all together. I've been trying to post short videos, and I've noticed some of them, they're just not going out, and I was reading online that it's been down. Let me wash my hair. That there's outages. I'm in Florida. I don't know if there's outages in the state of Florida. Bring it up. This is the dough. And when I put in the chocolate chips, I will tell you what's in here is white chocolate, dark chocolate, and pieces of peppermint. I usually put those in. I usually don't put them through the mixer. I usually just pull this off the mixer, put it aside, and I usually just throw the chips in. Now I'm getting ready. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm mixing it all together. Let me use this one. And because you mix in white chocolate, dark chocolate, and peppermint, this is going to be peppermint bark cookies. This is what the dough looks like. If you want darker dough for the peppermint bark cookies, go ahead and use the darker brown sugar, and that's fine. What I do is I have my pan already lined with parchment paper. I like to use the Reynolds parchment paper because it doesn't curl up. I don't like it when I have parchment paper that curls up. I use my Pampered Chef scooper. Get some of this off. I literally bought this, I have no idea how many years ago. I don't know if it was given to me as a gift or if I personally bought it, but it is very old. And I'm gonna go ahead and scoop them on the tray. I will tell you, I put them in, you can put these cookies in anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes. I usually put them in for 11 minutes. And then I usually let them sit on the pan for a minute. And once they sit on the pan for a minute, they continue to cook. Now, if once you pull them out, you're happy with the way they look, you can go ahead and put them on your container to cool. However, if you put them in for too long and they become overcooked, you cannot take away the time. That's the reason I usually will put them in the oven for 11 minutes. I'll look at them when they come out. If I'm happy with them, I'll go ahead and put them on the cooling rack. If I'm not, I leave them sitting on the tray for another minute. And they will continue to cook on the cookie tray. So that's what I like to do. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in for a minute. Yeah, sounds like Bama just scored another touchdown. They're not letting me in there. They take their football seriously, and since I left, Bama's been doing really well. So, getting my other pan together. I have my parchment paper on it. You can see these pans are seasoned. I do a lot of baking. I do a lot of cooking. We're on the holidays. I'm baking nonstop. Yes, I do hold a full-time job, but I absolutely love to bake. And as you can see, I absolutely love to eat cookies. These are going to be peppermint bark cookies. And I'm going to let these sit in the tray while I wait for the other ones to come out. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, I don't see any questions in the chat. I'll be glad to answer any questions. One of the things I would probably is going to make this weekend, and I may live stream it, is going to be Christmas cookies, and I will decorate them. I have a family secret recipe that I may share with you guys for the people who decide to join me on the live chat. And I really want to make homemade cinnamon rolls. That is another family secret recipe. I made oatmeal chocolate chip cookies last weekend. They turned out spectacular. Today I'm making peppermint bark cookies, and we'll see what other cookies I like to make. I just love to bake during the holidays. I love to cook, and I would love to share it with you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to go ahead and put these ones aside while I wait for the other cookies to come out. And when the other cookies come out, I may live stream it just to go ahead and show you what it looks like. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to message me in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and make this public shortly, and you can go ahead and add comments, and I'll be glad to answer any of those comments. I hear the door opening, which is probably one of my dogs who want to come out and see what Mom is doing out here, and Mom is baking. Have a great night, everyone.